This morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a great Mother's Day. This is Stacy Turner with our DMOpro Zooms, and I'm just so excited to have you here with us. I was thinking yesterday about being in business. So having some team members, just some discussions with them this week and just kind of some conversations. That's often where I get content for what we're going to talk about. So sorry to my team, you guys are the content, but thankful to my team that you are the content, because I think there's a lot of people that are going to connect with this. And we're going to talk about being in business. And sometimes I feel like we get diluted sort of with network marketing. Either people don't recognize it as a true business and they don't take it as serious as a true business. There's an excellent book called The Business School for People Who Like Helping People. This is Robert Kiyosaki. He does a lot of financial books and teachings. He has Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is an excellent book. It was actually one of the first ones I read, but this one is specifically talking about network marketing and the legitimacy of network marketing. And another one that I would recommend, I've been listening to it again, is She Is Selling What? And I'll have to take a picture. I'll take a picture of both of the books and send them to you guys in Voxer. But it's a husband's perspective. His wife is in network marketing, and then he wrote a book about what the expectations really should be. And from a husband's point of view, how can you help be supportive of your spouse? It's an excellent book. Even if your spouse never reads it, Jarrett and I listened to parts of it when we were traveling years ago. It's probably been out for maybe 4 or 5 years, and it was kind of popular for a little bit, but it's called She Is Selling What? With a question mark. And it really does give a lot of validity to network marketing and a realistic expectation of what business truly looks like this. And he talks in that book about walking, running, or sprinting, just depending on how fast you want to grow this type of business. What does walking look like? What does running look like? And sprinting, how many hours a week within each of those categories? And then, what to expect of that income wise or productivity. And, what we've talked about, it takes time for momentum to build and get results. But he didn't put a crawling in there. Like, I thought that was interesting. It was like the expectation, if you're doing this business, then if you're doing this as a business, that you're going to at least be walking. And what he describes as walking, I would think oftentimes we would kind of say within our business, oh, this is a true runner, like she really wants to do this business. And the expectations really have to be adjusted by how much time you're going to put into a business, right? Like, if you're going to do 2 hours a week, I don't even know if that's crawling. That might be like creeping and then crawling and then walking and running and sprinting. And, sometimes we look at people that we hear, they get to national marketing director in 18 months or 2 years, and we're just like, what in the world? Like, how did they get there that fast? And they must have known a lot of people. And like, we start making, here's what happened. They worked their tails off. Like, they worked very specific. They worked very intentionally. They put a lot of hours into something. If you talk to them and ask them like what their work week is like, they are on all the time. They are juice plus 100% wherever they go, all the time, and they love it and they thrive on that. And that may not be you, right? Like, that may not be what you love or that you have the time to put into it. But if we're creeping and we expect sprinting results, that's what's going to be frustrating. And it's going to be frustrating for your spouse too, right? Like, they think, she's putting all this time and effort into this business. Why isn't anything happening? But if you really truly look at the work that you're putting in, are you putting in productive hours and time? Or does it just kind of look like you're doing work every once in a while, doing an event that inconveniences the family enough that you have to clean and get the kids out of the house or whatever? So we just want to make sure that if we want this as a business, if we want to build income and we want the benefits of national marketing director and above, if we want time freedom and flexibility, if we want the money to come to match, our effort or to to be worth it in our mind. Because I'll ask people, why are you doing this business? And everyone says, well, I want to help people. If we didn't want to help people, we're in the wrong spot. We're talking nutrition. We're in, deeper conversations with people. If you don't have a heart for people, then you're probably should not be in this business. So that's a given. So neutralize that one. And then you've got to go further. We've talked about that before. Like, what outside of that, or what deeper level, what do you really want this business? How much income, if you were making X amount of dollars at the end of the month, that you would feel it's worth it to keep doing this business? And I've had people say, I was making $1,000 a month, I would see this as a legitimate business. Okay, that expectation is in your head then, or I need this much money to pay for my product and to pay my car payment or whatever it is. So if I was making this much money, I would see it as a legitimate business, or I would be happy with this as a business. If you have no financial goal, I would say, again, you've got money mindset issues and you need to address those. But what is the goal? What do you want to make with this? And it's okay for businesses to make money. I don't know if anyone has told you guys that recently, but if you're in business and you're not making money, you're going to be out of business. Whether we're talking a restaurant, my Airbnb, my husband's business, or our network marketing business, if I'm not making money at this, I'm not going to feel fulfilled. I'm going to feel like I'm failing or I'm not doing it right. And I'm not going to feel satisfied with that, personally, because even if the first answer is, I want to help people, your paycheck is a reflection of how many people you're helping. So if that's even your first thing, I just want to help people, but you've got a paycheck of $50 a month, you're going to feel like I'm really not helping many people, because there's not that many people on the product to give you a paycheck. So if you have a good paycheck, then that is a reflection. It's matching what it is that you desire and you want. So if we're really in business, if we take this as a serious business and start thinking of it as a business, I want us to just kind of think through a couple of things. Like, what do we need to have or do to be in business with Juice Plus? And I'm going to give you an example with my Airbnb. So this is what we had to have just to set up the Airbnb. This is what we had to do. One, we had to buy the house. It was $120,000. Then we had to decide what needed to be remodeled, and we had to hire somebody to remodel that. We added on bedrooms and a bathroom so that we could have a bigger space and rent it out for more money each month. Things snowball. When you did that, we had to add another septic tank, air conditioners in different rooms. The kitchen eventually had to be redone. We had to put money into that. That was probably about another $50,000 or $60,000 into this Airbnb house, right? We had to buy decorations. I would say it was in that amount of money. Furniture, because it's a furnished house. And then I had to set it up on Airbnb. I have to get it out there to where people can book it. So I have to do room descriptions. Like, there's a lot of work that went into getting the Airbnb set up and get it ready. Buying kitchen gadgets, making sure we had, we would get good reviews on it, all the things, painting the outside of the house. Like, there was a lot of work that went into that. And it was a lot of money to start a business with an Airbnb. Okay, so what if I had paid $52 for that house? Do you think I would have taken it as serious, and would I have cared if I got bookings or not, or if I get a good review, if the decorations are cute? What about the flower, the pictures, the photographs of the house to get it listed? Would I be as concerned about that? Probably not. But when we're dropping, let's just say $160,000 into a house, when we're investing into that, you bet I want to see, what are my numbers? How am I getting bookings? What are the reviews? I clean it myself because I'm terrified of getting a bad review, because one bad review will tank me so fast and it just looks bad. So like, I wanted I invite people, I post on Facebook, like, I invested in that business because I invested in the business, right? Okay, let's take another one. We started a bookstore in here locally. We do Amazon books online, and then we sell them books like in a used bookstore here. Same thing. We bought the business from somebody that was already established so that we had some direction and connections and books already. Then we had to buy shelves for the shop. Then we had to buy pallets of books. And then Jarrett had to learn how to list all of those. We've eventually hired 3 people to help us get those books listed and shipping out. And we're making money with that. But you know what? Jarrett looks at those numbers. He knows how much of a profit we've had already. He knows what books are going out, what types of books are being sold. We were sued by a textbook company, had to pay like $5,000 for lawyer fees for something we had no idea. We sold a fake textbook. Like, there's all these weird things and struggles that come in, especially with that business. That was totally outside of our realm of anything we had done before. And so it was a lot of learning curve. We just started that in January, but the business is making a profit. If it's not making a profit, we start figuring out why. Why are we not getting bookings? Because the decorations aren't good? Are we not getting bookings because the price is too high? The location, like, what is it would keep us from people from booking our house? Do I need to adjust the listing? And I've done that before, adjusted the wording on it. We upgraded the kitchen to where it was a full kitchen. Like, we're adjusting the business as we see needs that come in because we want to make a profit on it. But what I find with people with our Juice Plus business is, well, I talked to 4 people and they didn't really want Juice Plus. They're not really interested. So I guess, if it comes up, I'll talk to people, I'll share with them as we go along. But, I'm not really in this for a business. And I don't think that's you guys, but I do think you'll have people on your team that are that way. That's fine. It's okay. Their numbers count towards yours. We are thankful for them. But if we really want this as a business for ourselves, we've got to be set up for a business. I can't list an Airbnb for a house I don't own or I don't have set up for rent, right? I can't list an Airbnb that doesn't have mattresses on a bed or toilet paper in the bathrooms. Like, there's things I had to have in place to have that as a business. And that's true for us. So let's talk about what some of those are. And here's just some things that I hear come up. Okay, we need a working, dedicated workspace. So some sort of office that's yours where you can shut the door, you can be on a Zoom, you don't have kids running around or dogs barking, although sometimes that happens, right? But like someplace where you can go and that's your work time and your workspace. If you don't have that, it just kind of feels like something you do whenever you get a chance to it. And sometimes I'll move workstations, like I'll go sit at the table or I'll go sit outside or I'll sit in our sunroom. I'm not talking about that, but like I have an office. And there were times we lived in houses, there was no office. Guys, one time, and there's some of you that know this story personally with me, I had no workspace in the house. There was a little room on the outside of the house that had the water heater in there, and it was off of the deck. I totally revamped that whole room and made an office in that space. And it was ridiculous. If somebody turned on the hot water, then the hot water heater would turn on, and then it would sort of smell a little bit like gas. So I would have to open the door. But I didn't care. Like, I needed an office space, and I ductworked the air conditioning to where I could have heat and air in there. I did that myself up in the attic, probably against code somehow, but like I made it work, right? Like, I figured it out. I need an office. Where do I have space in this house that can be mine, that I put things? And when the kids were little, I couldn't have an office separated and shut the door when I have 3 little ones running around. Like, that's not going to work. But I had an armoire that I could have all of my stuff in there, and I could close it when I needed to and open it. And that was my office. It was just a desk in an armoire, and it was out in the middle. It was like in the kitchen because I had to be where the kids were, but I still needed a space for things. So a dedicated office space is really important. What does that look like for you? And then second would be working electronics. So, a laptop, I think at this point is vital for your business if you're really wanting to build your business, because you can take your laptop somewhere else. I take mine all the time. I have a MacBook Air. It's small, it's thin, it's light. Jarrett gave me one of his MacBook Pro, and I used it for about a week, and I was like, thank you, but I don't want it. And he was like, what? And I said, it's big. I know it's not that much bigger, but it doesn't fit in any of my cute bags. It's heavy and it's just chunky, and I don't love it, and I would like to get a smaller one. And so this is smaller. It works great. I can easily take it with me. It'll slip in any bag. It's not super heavy. I love it. So I needed a working computer. On that working computer, though, I needed space, right? So Dropbox, I pay for Dropbox. I pay for iCloud. I don't understand iCloud all the time, but like I needed space for the stuff that's on my computer. If you're not able to save anymore because you don't have space, then you need to upgrade. You need to figure out, it's like $2, $3 a month, and you can buy iCloud storage and you can save whatever you want. I don't even know how much Dropbox is, but it's a business expense. It's minimal of what we would, what other business expenses we have. Okay. So same thing with your phone. If you're like, well, I would like to get Boxer, but I don't have enough space on my phone because I have too many apps or I have too many pictures or whatever. That's not okay. You need app space. You need Voxer space. You need to be able to access what you need to on your phone. Well, it's an old phone, then upgrade it. Upgrade it. I guarantee you, Jarrett's not working on super old computers at his work. That he's like, well, sometimes it turns on, sometimes it doesn't. It's an old computer, and sometimes he has to have a computer that works if he has a business, and so do you. You need a computer that works. It's a tax write-off, guys. It's awesome. We have so many business expense write-offs that we can upgrade your phone, upgrade your computer, get one that works, and if you don't know how to use it, hire somebody to help you. You know what? I didn't know how to do PowerPoint. I didn't know how to, I don't even think I had an email address when I started this business. We had to fax everything. It was kind of a little bit more simple, I would say, than filled out the order form. You just faxed it in. You didn't have to even have a computer, but over time I needed those things. So I had to learn those skills and I had to figure it out. Find somebody, I don't know, that's probably like around 16 to 18. They will totally teach you how to do it. Even if they've never opened a MacBook, within 10 minutes, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is what you do. And they'll be able to show you around, like on your phone, whatever. Just find somebody that knows how to do it, somebody younger on your team, if that's what you're needing. But just to be able to use the basics of electronics is an important aspect. What about the ability to present? Events are everything with our business. COVID, people lost their business because they stopped doing events, bottom line. Even if you did Zoom events, it wasn't the same, right? Like when you're only Zoom, there's something super powerful about having people together. So we've got to be presenting Juice Plus. That's what we get paid to talk. We get paid to talk to people, and being able to easily present Juice Plus at any time is super important. So I have one box. I grabbed it here, that has all of my Juice Plus stuff in it for presenting. Somebody could call me this morning and say, hey, Stacy, we have an opening at 10 o'clock and our guest speaker canceled. Can you come in and do our health talk? And I would say yes. And I could do it without even thinking about it because I've done it enough times, but because I'm prepared, I have the box ready. This is a box of props that I would use, like the laminate sheet of what's in Juice Plus. What's in how many nutrients are in an apple versus a vitamin, some brochures. I've got some images, the bottles of Juice Plus. Like it's not a ton of things, but I could do it completely prop based, or I know where a presentation is online that I can get to those slides and I can connect to PowerPoint from my computer or from a website and connect it to a TV that somebody has. In the past, we had to have a projector. I bought a projector because there wasn't smart TVs that you could connect your computer to. I still have a projector. They're small. They're like $300 now, where they were like $1,000 when I first bought those huge ones. They're small. If I ever need a projector somewhere, I have one. We can easily take it with us, but I have to have the right cord, right, to connect my Mac to a TV. Do you have the cords that you need? Just thinking about taking the excuse out. Why do I not do a presentation? Why do I not, why won't I step into that? There's things that you're going to say, well, my house isn't big enough. I hear that a lot. We're not going to expect 20 people to come to your event. It's just not going to happen most of the time. We're talking 3, 5 people most. When you start having team inviting and they've got people, that's where it can grow bigger to 20 people. But that if you're just starting out with yourself doing events, you're not going to have 16 people at your house. You might have 1 or 3. Honestly, like it doesn't have to be a huge house. You don't have to have this huge, entertainment space. We're not doing a full dinner with, lights outside on the patio. Like keep it simple and just invite some people over. So can you connect your laptop to the TV to where you can do a presentation? Or do you have a box of props that you could do it that way? Those are important. What about, there were times where when my kids were little, I had a great house, but it just meant my husband leaving with 3 kids that were really little. And he would do that. But in the evenings, that's hard because they need to go to bed. And, it was just clunky. And so there was a grocery store that had a side room that we could use to present in. And so that's what we did. We would just reserve that side room at this grocery store. It was like their staff meeting room or something. And so we would do presentations there. And there was one other rep with me. If Lucy's watching, hi, Lucy. And so we would do those events together. So we found a way. You can make an excuse or you can make a way. And I just encourage you, make a way. Whatever it is that's keeping you from doing business, from really stepping into it, from mindset where you're just not sure about doing a business like this, and you need to fuel it with reading different books and doing a coaching call maybe with your upline, to our skill set, learning how to manage or to flip through slides on PowerPoint, making a flyer. Canva is excellent. Use Canva. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's so much free out there with Canva. It's really like drag and drop in there. You don't have to create the flyer. Use the templates that are already there. And if you're like, oh, I'm just not good at Canva, we'll get there. Get good at it, or pay somebody that is good at it, right? Like you can't just, I'm not going to do an event because I'm not good at flyers. Well, then you don't really want this. Like I'm being just like a little bit more honest with you guys. Like keep making the excuse, and then you're going to keep making the small amount of money that you're making. Or you can stop making those excuses and make a way, find a way to do it, and you're going to start building business. I guarantee those people that made an MD in 2 years, they made a way, right? They didn't just, I can't, they made a way to do it. They found a way. If you need babysitters, find people, find somebody that you trust and know that has teenage girls that are looking for money and, looking for a way to build some money for themselves. You need a list of like 5 babysitters in your phone. Who can you quickly go to? Asking your in-laws if they would be open to watching the kids while you do events. I don't know. You've got to find a way to be able to get on the events or get to the events in your area. Almost anywhere that you live in the United States, there are other people doing Juice Plus fairly close to you. I would say within an hour. Are you tapping into that community? You might say, well, I don't really have a team yet. Then when you have new people come joining you, how great to be able to take them and experience the bigger team and see the bigger picture of that through other people's larger team events. None of us, that are doing this business, like we're not with this company. I don't know about other companies, but we're not like, oh, this is for us and not for you. This event is for our team. And I've never experienced that. Like I've always experienced whatever place I've been, if someone was doing an event, like, yes, come along. Or if I have somebody in that area and I'm like, hey, I know you guys do events in this area. Would my team member be able to come in? They're like, yeah, for sure. Come on. We want to meet them. So it's a very open community. Are you tapping into that type of community? So those are just some of the things that I've thought of. Let me see if I missed anything in my notes from this morning. Yeah, those are the main ones, like just main excuses. Even like having a printer that works. We don't always have to print out order forms, but I use my printer a lot. Like if I'm going to be doing some training, like I would say on a weekly basis, I'm using my printer. I need a printer to be able to do this. I just don't want that to be the excuse of why I can't do something. So I just want you to kind of think back through the last couple of weeks, and are there things that you've let come up, whether you want to call it an obstacle or an excuse? A lot of times I feel like it's the same thing. An obstacle becomes an excuse when you decide I'm not going to make a way. I'm just going to sit with this obstacle and I'm going to let the obstacle win. Don't let it win. Like there's so much available to you guys, so much possibility, so many areas of true growth that you're going to get from this. Like make a way. And I would love to hear from you guys. What are some obstacles in business that you have overcome, whether it was mindset, like physical location, things like that, some new skill set that you've learned? I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead, Miss Patty.
I'm going to go because I have to leave soon, but doing brand and barber training has reminded me, if we say we get to call people, we get to do an event, I'm super excited that I'm inviting to Dr. Phillips in Reno. It's how we mentally go into it. And I believe our energy is everything too. But I think I was sharing with Stacy beforehand, I live in a town that's less than 800 people, and I've been here a long time. So I feel like it's saturated, but you can even call somebody up and say, hey, I'm going to do a coffee and talk about health challenges and meet people down at the local coffee shop. That's an event. So I think as little or as big, but actually, like you said, just taking the steps and doing it. So great, great training. Thank you so much.
And you're welcome, Patty. Tell us really quick. I know you've got to leave, but you said you've used social media to the point where your last two partners came from social media. So the limiting obstacle is 800 people, sort of a saturated community. So what do? We have social media to move us outside of that. Tell us about that experience.
Well, one, I still do events, a salad in the jar. So there's people moving in, people you haven't touched. So I try to do a couple events a month. So I do that. But social media is just staying present and not, throwing up Juice Plus all over it. Making sure you build a relationship and you're attractive. People want to be around you. So you're fun, you're encouraging, you're bringing value of some sort. I think those are probably the most important things. And then you put your Juice Plus post, and then you watch people's posts. You have to make sure you comment on people. Oh, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well, or that's so exciting that you had that trip. So you're going to stay in their algorithms. But two, I had one gal that I've never met. I grew up in Tahoe. She lived in South Shore and I lived in North Shore, and I saw she was in Tahoe. So I just connected and ended up, she had cancer and she was looking for money. So it's been a process. It doesn't happen quickly. And then the other person, just on a different page, I saw her asking questions about trying to do something. And so I reached out and answered the question. So she stayed in my feed. Eventually she signed up as a partner just last month. And it was just, I mean, I've never met either of these two in person, but it's just being somebody of value and caring, being somebody there. But you have to stay active in Facebook. You can't check it once a week type of thing.
And you said, Patty, eventually, and it was a process. And that is true with social media. You can't make a post and you're like, oh, nobody commented, nobody asked me, nobody wants to order. Like it's a continuation of posting that people see. And I was just telling Marcia before this that I love her Facebook post. Like I feel like I get to know her better through her Facebook post. Like I like her, I trust her more. I would want to do business with her if I was outside of it. When she starts posting something on Juice Plus, that would be interesting to me because I already feel like I know her. So being real and authentic. If you have no idea what to post, Jill Wagner has a program, authenticallyjill.com, I think think is the website, and you can sign up. You pay $10 a month, and every morning she sends you what to post on Facebook. It's brilliant. I do it. Like, it's one less thing I have to think about. And then we see other people's, and we, borrow their ideas, and even borrow their posts. Don't share it. Make it a real event post of yours by copying and pasting and adding the picture versus sharing. So, okay, thank you, Patty. Who else would like to share?
I can share.
Hi, Peggy.
Hi. So I have to start by saying I just turned 83, and my challenge is to keep learning the new technology and social media. And if I can do it, anybody else can too. You just find people who are smarter than you or younger than you, or and you reach out and you ask them how.
Yes. And Peggy, have you found, like, once you learn something, it changes? Like the next
Oh,
week?
absolutely.
Yeah. So
And
we're always learning.
And I find that some of my peers who are the same age come to me now and ask me how to do things.
That's right. That's fun. Be the example. I love that. Thank you, Peggy. Anyone else want to share?
Well, Stacy, I'll share. I was typing all this in a message, but I can say it faster than I can type it. So thank you for your compliment there, Stacy. I really appreciate that. I have been participating in Bob Heilig's 14-day challenge that's called Creating Content That Connects. And he had a training before. It was like an hour-and-a-half training, and then some homework and whatever. And then he tells us what to post every day. And honestly, there were some days I was like, really, Bob, you want me to say that? Are you kidding me right now? But and it took me time. It does take some time. It takes some time to just focus on what he's asking me to do, and then be real and authentic. He's not giving you every word to say, often like what Jill does, and she doesn't do that every day either. But he's encouraging you to tell your story in different ways, and be yourself, and be authentic and real about life, not about your business all the time, but about your struggles and what's important to you, your faith, or your family, or the things that you value. So that has been and I think today is the last day. It was 14 days, and I think today's the last day. But that has really helped me to but stretched me. It was hard. And I'll tell you, I haven't done all of them. I felt like at some point that it was too much. I needed to lighten up a little bit. But I still have all those. I still can post them later. I'm just spraying them out now a little bit more. I'm not afraid of them. I'm just feeling like, for me, I just needed to post some things. Like yesterday, I needed to post about Mother's Day. I didn't need to post what he told me to post,
Right.
So it's been very helpful, and I don't know when he might do that again, but it was very, very valuable.
Thank you, Marcia. And you guys heard a couple of names: Brandon Barber, Bob Heilig, Kristen Voss. Those are three of network marketing coaches that are out there, and that do trainings that you buy in to do their coaching. So they may have, like, some of them have like a $20 3-day program, or even as much as $1,000 course that you take. And I think that's excellent. That hasn't been something that's been around, for very long. I would say even within the last year that people have really stepped into that network marketing coaching. And it's sort of an area that I feel like that's what this is as well. But to be like a coach online and to have like specific programs, it's a ton of work. That all three of them have been in network marketing, but they're not in network marketing anymore. And so I think that there's sort of an advantage to this group because we are in network marketing. You're getting specific coaching from network marketing, somebody who's in it. But they just have some really valuable, Eric Worre has programs that you can buy into. So there's like, get the coaching. If you're just like, I don't even know really how this type of business works, or, the day-to-day, like tapping into coaching calls like this is really important. Kurt Beavers has one on every Wednesday that's teaching you how to find a rhythm within your month and to really build into that rhythm to where you are effectively having a month that works, to where you're not scrambling at the end of the month, but you're actually getting the results from the activity you've done. Marcia, did you want to add something?
Yes, I want to say about social media specifically, y'all. Social media changes so rapidly, and you know what worked 5 years ago doesn't work anymore. It did work back then, but what I feel like I'm paying Bob for example, is he's doing the research. He's reading all the books I don't have time to read. He's tapped into that, and he really has his finger on the pulse of what is working now. So he's teaching that. And will it change? Will he offer? Yep, absolutely. But that's just the nature of the beast. It will change. And that's the best way to keep up with what's working now, in my opinion.
I agree. And Kristen Voss, she has a podcast you can listen to. Bob Heilig has one that you can listen to. I listen to those often. Let me find the other gal that I really like. Level Up by Debbie Neal, or Level Up with Debbie Neal. She's from New York. I love her accent, and she there's no hold bar. Like, she goes right in and tells us what we really need to hear. I love it. But she's excellent. Like this one, her newest one is today, 8 mindset differences between wealthy and average. It's just interesting. It's a different point of view. It's going to expand it even past what we know, like with, within our Juice Plus community. If you're really wanting coaching in a bigger picture, I find those are really good. Anyone else want to add anything?
Stacy, I'll add something real quick if you can hear me. This is Lisa.
Yeah, we can hear you, Lisa.
Okay. What I was going to say is one of the things that's helped me a lot is just like you kept saying, do events, and then you would do a training, and you said something dumb that I wasn't doing was I didn't have order sheets there. And so little things like that. And like you said, just keep tweaking them, make the adjustment, keep pivoting, and make that, it reminds me of the thing with the sale. You just have to keep making micro changes, and it makes, it starts to be better. I mean, it's a process, and it's a process as me as a growth, growing. The other person I would quickly mention that I found some value is, and she and her husband are Christians, are Stacy and Larry Wallace. And they actually are on do a Facebook thing, and they start a free program today. It's 1 Eastern, so yeah, I think it's 1 Eastern. Anyway, it's on Facebook, and you can look up Stacy STACI Wallace if anyone's interested. So thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. I like what you said about micro adjustments, micro changes. It's little things that add up to make something so much bigger. And then I just want to remind you guys about our DMO app. So this, these are recordings. I have them organized in our app. You can access the each Monday morning's recording in there for free, or you can do a $10 a month, and then you have access from the last year. And I'll share with you how I use that access. If I have a new team member that's come on board and they're just like, I just really don't know how to start conversations, I can spend 30 minutes teaching them that, or I can go back into the app. I look under, it's either going to be activity or skill set. And then I look for the title. It says starting conversations. I go in there, I copy the link, and I can send them that YouTube directly, or I can get them set up in the app and show them where it's at. But most of the time, I'm just going to send them the link. So as a coach, if you will, for our business, having access to all of those trainings, you don't have to have the perfect verbiage. I mean, these aren't perfect verbiage either, but it is specific to our business that you can, direct them to learn a skill set without having to be the teacher every time. So it's a way to maximize your time when you have access to those and they're organized, and you can send them that one specific one. So that's in the membership access. And that's one of the ways that I have been really working or using the app side of it, is just being able to access those by topic and then send them as needed to the team that I'm coaching, one-on-one. All right. One more person if somebody else wants to share. We don't want to go too long today, but I don't want to miss if somebody wants to hop in.
Hey, Stacy, it's Cindy. One thing that has really helped me, sometimes when we're having events, we feel like we decide for people instead of letting them decide. And sometimes we know that people aren't going to be able to come, but I think it's worth it to invite them anyway, because they know that you're thinking of them. They know that this is something that you're still involved in. And even though they can't come, just reaching out and sending that invitation is sometimes it can be a challenge in our mindset, but it's worth the effort. And one other little thing, Lisa was talking about micro, I don't know, changes. But one thing that I do appreciate and that I have put into place, your words, don't ever say, can I delay your order? Always ask if you can adjust it. So I think of you every time I send a message like that or ask that question. So thanks for all you do. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Cindy. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, let me stop this recording so it doesn't get too long. Thanks for joining in with us.